Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports here. April 22nd. I know I've said it before. Happy Friday. That's not the deal. The deal is breaking news. And I just heard this from my brother from another mother. He just told me Robert Williams, it might be available for game 3 and strong possibility for game 4, but early as game 3. And that's tomorrow, right? So that is tomorrow. That is another defender to defend in the paint. So at the end of the day, you just got to think, can the Brooklyn Nets overcome this deficit? I don't know. It's just the way that they are defending Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And now you got another defender, as in Robert Williams. I just don't know what to say, right? Like, he told me this, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Robert Williams, I knew he would come back. I thought it was game 5, but hey, guess what? It's game 3. That's tomorrow, early. And for those who are keeping track, Ben Simmons basically just said, no, he's not going to play in game 3, but he's very hopeful for game 4. Check this clip out from the Celtics.
Here with another practice report, garden report from Auerbach Center here in Boston. Last practice before the Celtics hit the road for Brooklyn with a 2-0 series lead, and now that the Celtics have established their dominance early on in the series and have taken control of the series on the Boston side, all eyes turn toward the possible returning factors on both teams that have been out of the series so far. Of course, that's Robert Williams and Ben Simmons. We'll get to Ben in a minute, but obviously big news on him today. Shams Charania reporting he will make his return in Game 4 of this series in Brooklyn. That's the plan if his rehab continues to progress as it has through 3-on-3 and 4-on-4. But revelations on the Boston side as well, starting pregame before Game 2. Ime saying that Robert Williams, who tore his meniscus just about 3 weeks ago now, as we talk here just after Wednesday, surgery March 30th. 3-week point has passed, progressing toward the 4-week point, and at this point he is doing some 3-on-3, 4-on-4 work. Outside of the team's practice, they're still keeping the Celtics regular participants and playoff preparation separate from Williams' rehab, but he has progressed to contact. He is playing in those live environments now, and you see him walk, not only in the celebration after Game 1, but we posted video of him in practice a week ago. He's moving well, hopping his step, no real limp or laboring in his movements. It's all great signs. It's been nothing but good reports and signs right from the surgery for the Celtics, who say he is on track to get back by that 4-week mark. Now, what's that mean for this series? Game 5, Game 6, Game 7? The Celtics don't plan on having him at all in this series. That's what they've said all along. But the timeline, in terms of that 4-week mark, if he can get back on the early end of that, like there was a lot of optimism after that surgery, it does fall in line with the end of the series. Now, who knows? The Celtics are in a position now where, I hate to say it, but they could possibly sweep this if they continue to play the way they have on the Brooklyn side. 5 games, 6 games. At that point, you probably don't push it too much with Rob. You get him his rest and have him ready for the next series, where he'll be probably 5 weeks into his return at that point. But if this goes to a Game 6, Game 7 becomes more contested, that is something the Celtics have in their back pocket now. Being able to put Robert Williams in that starting lineup over Daniel Theis, who, for all intents and purposes, has been, I don't want to say a non-factor, he's given them some offense, but hasn't played well in this series. It's not hard to imagine Rob being able to defend and be a factor out there with his length and be a finisher who can roll downhill and draw defense that way and rebound. Even Rob at 75-80% of himself, just getting his legs under him, projects to impact the game better than Theis. So massive good news. Here was Ime's assessment on where Rob's at in his comeback.
Not practice. I mean, he's jumped up his level of activity as far as rehab, and like I said, getting out there and doing some 3-on-3 and 4-on-4, that type of things, but not practicing with the team. You can't really emulate the game, but he's starting to do more, contact work and getting out there playing a little bit. Like I said, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, and as much as we are going through things, walk through, we want to get the guys that are going to be on the court the reps, and so There's no need to put him in there with us for walkthrough type activities. So he's doing this thing outside of the group.
So we'll see. It feels all along like the Celtics have played a little coy on his return here. Don't want to put any pressure on him, and probably don't want to tip their card to the Nets in terms of where they're going with his availability. Nets have done the same with Simmons, though. All along, lots of uncertainty. Nash pushing back against any pinpoint in time where a return could happen. Well, now it's starting to center around the end of this road trip in Brooklyn. What's his role going to be as Bruce Brown continues to play well offensively? That's a big question, but with no resistance on the perimeter right now for Brooklyn, they have to play this card. They're entering desperation mode now. Long-term factors, I still think, prevail with Simmons. Like I said, if they go down 3-0 in this series, I can't imagine him coming back. Why even push him? Why put him in that position? Why put the save me card on him and make that his return to basketball a year after that playoff disaster in Philadelphia? I just don't think it's a good formula for their long-term hopes integrating Simmons next to Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. At some point, you might just end up saying, this isn't our year, injuries, disconnect, Harden trade, all that stuff, and go to the next step. But seems like they're going to try it. Game 4, the target date for Ben Simmons' return. Robert Williams in the same position now. Could he be in that spot as well come Game 4? That's what John Zanis tweeted, and I think is a pretty good observation there. So from practice, Bobby Manning, Celtics All Access, CLNS Media.
Can the Nets still win this series?
Oh, hell no. Look, this series is over, okay? And I think it's going no longer than 6 games. It's going to be over in 6 games. The way that I'm watching the Celtics play, the tenacity, the chemistry, the edge, the confidence, the way that they're punking KD, they got him discombobulated. He don't know what direction to go to. And on top of that, you think I'm going to sit up here and put any stock into Steve Nash? They've been standing on the sideline looking like a damn statue. Hell no. Ime Udoka has these boys ready. They're more prepared. Look, Steve Nash, let me say this. Kevin Durant has been bailing out Steve Nash since he got there. When is Steve Nash gonna bail out Kevin Durant? You see how these guys are playing him, but yet you still try to go isolation ball. It's not working, bro. How about running them off some pin downs, running them off some misdirection plays, get them slashing to the basket? How about putting him in dribble handoff actions where he actually the guy that's doing the dribble handoffing? So here's the thing about the Brooklyn Nets that I just don't have any faith in them whatsoever. I don't really know what's going on with Kyrie right now. All I know is that I will not disrespect his religion, but I will say it's hard to play an evening game when you don't have nothing in your stomach, okay?
For sure.
I will say that. But Kevin Durant, on the other hand, I think this is the first time ever the Boston Celtics has his number, period. And it's not going longer than 6 games.
Let me say this, ladies and gentlemen. I picked the Brooklyn Nets to win this series in 7 games. I'm going down with the ship.
Really?
I'm not jumping off my prediction, but I have 0 confidence in it. 0.
So this is just about your own ego and needing to be right. You don't really believe what's going to happen.
I ain't wrong until I'm wrong. You know, that's what this is about.
Here.
I mean, it ain't official yet. It ain't official yet.
I'm
holding on. That's all it is. It ain't nothing else. It ain't because I have nothing else to fall on.
Yeah.
I have nothing else to fall on. I cannot believe what I have seen happen with Kevin Durant. You can't find me back-to-back games in his career, let alone a playoff series where Kevin Durant has looked this bad. It has never happened. And I'm talking to one of his former teammates, and I've talked to other teammates of his. I've talked to other NBA aficionados and what have you. No one has seen Kevin Durant look this bad. He has played over 935 games in his career. He has never looked like this. Okay, by the way, after a playoff loss since the year like 2018 or 2017, I forgot which year it was, he's averaged 39 a game after a playoff loss. This is not what he does. I'm not talking about the loss. Forget the loss for a second. 0 for 10 in the second half, Kevin Durant, it does not happen. This brother can average 30 in his sleep, but it's happening now. And let me tell you this, right? You got to pay attention to several things. They are being physical with him. They are pushing him around. They are getting away with calls. And there's a lot of people that want you to support Kevin Durant, that want folks to bring that up, and I get that. Here's the flip side to it. The flip side to it, KP, to support your point, is that there have been people who have been physical with Kevin Durant before. There have been people who have knocked him to the floor before. He still would get up and give it to him. That ain't happening in this series. And I don't want to hear about just double teams. We're seeing Jason Tatum on them one-on-one and defending him. We're seeing him blitzed. He can't handle the pressure. We're seeing him rattled. We're seeing him flummoxed in a way that I have never seen Kevin Durant
Is that
before.
on KD or is that on the coaching?
Well, that's both. It's KD because he's been around long enough.
Yeah.
And he's a superstar, but it's also Steve Nash. But that still comes back to KD and Kyrie. Why? Kyrie's on the record. We don't need a coach. We good. We don't need a coach. And Kevin Durant co-signed that. Well, guess what? You found out that you do. You know why? Because you need it for all the other people. You got to coach them, and you got to maximize their potential to supplement the superstars that you have available. So when Kyrie, no disrespect whatsoever, half my boys are Muslim, okay? I understand. You fasted. It's Ramadan.
Yeah.
I got that. Nothing disrespectful to that whatsoever. But the point is, if you Kyrie, you got to anticipate all of these different things that come that could come along, and have foresight to understand what you might need. You might not need it personally.
Yeah.
But those other dudes didn't. He didn't think about that. He was thinking about himself when he made statements like that. When they assembled this team, him and KD are responsible for it. And whatever they're lacking is on the shoulders of Kyrie and KD, and that's what's getting exposed.
Yeah, and Eid isn't until May 2nd, so he's going to be fasting this whole series, depending how long it goes.
Yeah. Well, Molly, Stephen A., let me explain something to the both of you, okay? The great Shaquille O'Neal quoted while he was playing with the Lakers, you know, when it's down low in the paint. I know a guy, he could bang with me down low in the first quarter. He could bang with me in the second quarter. He could bang with me in the third quarter. But I know by the time we get to the fourth quarter, I got him. You know why? Because of his size, his brute, his strength. You know, Shaq was just not normal. I say that to say this. When you look at Kevin Durant and you look at the way that the Boston Celtics are guarding him, from Jason Tatum to Marcus Smart to Grant Williams to Jaylen Brown, even Al Horford, old self, is getting out there and sliding them puppies and guarding Kevin Durant. But it's not when Kevin Durant catches the ball is what you need to pay attention to. It's before he catches the ball. As he's running up the floor and Kevin Durant don't have a ball, guess what they're doing? They're touching him up. They're bumping him. If he's slicing through the lane trying to get to the low post, guess what's happening? He's getting hit by one person.
One question for
Al
you.
Horford is...
One question. The only question
Al
I have for
Horford,
you, have you seen it before?
Wait, let him finish his thought.
No, Stephen, I'm just trying to teach you something right quick, my good brother.
Yeah.
I'm trying to teach you
Enjoy
how
class.
film rooms go. I'm just trying to teach you how film rooms go and when we're watching tape and what their game plan is. So when he's running across the lane to go to the other low block, the one guy who is setting the screen on him, Jaylen Brown is bumping them up. Jason Tatum is fighting. Al Horford is dropping down in the paint. He's hitting KD on the way. And then as he's trying to get the ball on the opposite block, guess what happened? So they're denying them. They're bodying them up. That weighs on you. So when I saw Kevin Durant get into the fourth quarter of Game 2 and go 0 for 10, it wasn't a surprise because he was already exhausted physically.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. He's right. You're right until that last statement. Kevin Durant has been in the league all of these years, and this is not the first time he's been exposed to physicality, and he didn't go 0 for 10. Stop it.
All right, we're up against it. We got to go. We got to go.
So there you have it. Robert Williams, again, breaking news. Robert Williams will return as early as Game 3, if not for surely Game 4. Tell me what you guys think. will the Nets, or can the Nets overcome this deficit? And can they find a solution for the Celtics? Or another question is, will the Celtics sweep the Brooklyn Nets? This is Jag from Jaggy Sports.